Alrighty, well, hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar, 5 Sticky AP Situations to Avoid with MotilityPay. So just a few housekeeping items before we get started. This webinar is going to be recorded today and it'll be shared afterward for your viewing pleasure. If you have any questions during the webinar, feel free to post those in the bottom panel down below, the Q&A panel. And lastly, we are going to be giving away a $250 Amazon gift card. You must be present to win for this. So we will be giving that away in the last 10 minutes. Super excited about this and also to share a little bit more about MotilityPay. So without further ado, my name is Lizzie Painter. I'm the Director of Marketing here at Motility. And I'll let Josh and Robert introduce themselves as well.
Hey everybody, this is Robert Diaz. I am an account manager here at Motility. I cover mostly the west coast of the United States, from about Texas up to Wisconsin and all the way over to Hawaii. Also here to give you guys a little bit more information on MotilityPay on the sales side, and I work alongside Josh.
Great, thank you so much, Robert. My name is Josh Calipa. I am the MotilityPay specialist here at Motility Software. So I'll be your direct point of contact for all things related to MotilityPay, from setup to implementation to servicing. So I hope to have the opportunity to work with everybody here. And very excited to discuss 5 sticky AP situations and how MotilityPay can help avoid those. So we're going to review those, and then we're going to take a brief look into the future outlook of not only MotilityPay, but our accounts payable platform as a whole. So we will go ahead and just jump right into the first situation, which I think is impacting everybody, which is COVID-19. It really has reshaped the new normal. And I'm sure a lot of people are sick of hearing that new normal, but unfortunately it is the reality. It's truly changed the landscape, not only of how we live, but definitely how we practice business. And I don't think there's any industry that's remained immune to this, especially accounts payable. There are a lot of companies, dealerships that are work from home right now. But unfortunately, the demands of accounts payable remain the same. You still have to get your payments out. You have to get them out on time. You have to have your reconciliations. But how do you do that when you're at home? How do you cut a check? Robert, can you kind of just walk us through some of the features that MotilityPay has that allows that business continuity to continue?
Yeah, you kind of mentioned it before. People are working from home, maybe not necessarily all the time, but they are having to, you kind of stagger the times that they're in this dealership or in the store, and when they're able to get in there, just to give that, depending on what their state's regulations are for capacity and things like that. But with MotilityPay, it's completely integrated in the system. So anybody who's taking work home for Motility, accounts payable or office manager, controller, and I know that they're trying to get their bills paid, they're able to do it from home. There's no need to go back to the office to get check stocks or anything like that. We're able to go ahead and make payments to the suppliers. It's not changing anything in your AP process other than the manual part. So it's once a payment file in MotilityPay is submitted, we send off payments in one of 3 ways, and that's either through an offsite check. That's also through a virtual card, which is, not opening up a line of credit, but another randomized way to provide some security and earn some rebate. And then we also integrate with any kind of ACH payments that are already set up. So it's as simple as, instead of printing checks in the system, you're able to click that MotilityPay button, and it's able to go ahead and send off the payments, confidently to your suppliers.
Great. So with MotilityPay, not only are they able to do this from home, but it sounds like they have several different payment methods to deliver to suppliers. So great. I appreciate it. Thank you. We can go ahead and move on to the second sticky situation, which is the rising concerns of check fraud. So I think with, if we look in today's digital marketplace, I think most people probably look at fraud or risk in the terms of something a little more electronic, maybe a phishing scheme with email or ransomware hacking. But the reality is that check fraud is alive and unfortunately well. Dealerships can lose a significant amount of revenue based on check fraud, whether that be from somebody capturing accounting details in transit, or unfortunately, an employee having access to that check stock at the business or the dealership and writing erroneous checks. What kind of controls does MotilityPay have in place that allows the dealership to kind of mitigate that risk of check fraud?
Yeah, kind of tying it also with the situation with COVID, not being in the office every day of the week like normal. You're gonna be giving some people a little bit more leniency as far as what you need them to do while you're not there. But one thing that I've noticed is that it was an interesting statistic that was brought up by the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, is that due to check fraud, a business could lose up to 5% of their gross revenue in a year, which is substantial when you think about the money that our customers are dealing with. Having that layer of security with MotilityPay, it's all permission based. It's only going to be available to those who are granted the access for it. You're able to define specifically who's going to approve any payments that are going through. There's an approval process built into the system that some customers don't even realize is there, and that's something also that's free within the system. With MotilityPay, I mean, with the virtual cards and also with the offsite checks, we guarantee that the payments are going to be submitted in a timely process and things are done electronically submitted, so it's a little bit quicker. But the V cards, it allows a business not to lose any of their business financial information, anything like a routing number or checking number with a virtual card, because it's completely randomized in those 16 digits, and it's limited to one-time payment for a specific amount. So, there's a lot of ways to prevent any malicious attacks or any kind of somebody trying to steal the financial information either through the snail mail or somebody on site. Internal control is huge with this aspect too.
Right. Okay, well, that's a perfect segue into the next sticky situation that we see with accounts payable, especially with COVID-19 and working from home, is that lack of oversight. So with MotilityPay, obviously the AP team, they can send out those payments from home. They can make those payments, and we're going to print and mail those checks for them. But what about that control? I mean, the controller there, the signer, the one that has that final say, is going to sign that check before it goes out. What does MotilityPay give them to have that last say before they send out a payment?
Yeah, I mean, like I said in the last portion, it was using MotilityPay as completely permission based. So you don't have anybody, anybody could pick up a check stock and possibly take that out of the store. When it comes down to using MotilityPay, certain people are only going to have the access, and as you want to build in approvals with either the dealer, the owner, whoever has to have that second sign, that third sign, they're able to access that through the system as well from home. So, logging in, it's as simple as pushing up an approval for certain invoices to be paid. And then, whoever that second signer is, they're able to drill down into the specific payments as well within the approval screen. So, driving down and seeing which specific entity and what address it's going to for which amounts on which invoices. It's almost a little bit more streamlined than having having to find an invoice piece of paper and then walk it between the offices. It eliminates all that redundant time. And the control is that you're not walking around with all that sensitive information either. That's
great. So it gives them the ability to do what they need to from home, but still has that control, like you said, to that approval process. Perfect. So the next sticky situation, which we see, which I think is the most common, it's the one that I hear about a lot, which is just the sheer amount of time it takes to print and mail checks. It's an extremely cumbersome process, very manual. Speaking with some dealerships, they can spend anywhere between 6 to 8 hours a week just on loading up the printer, printing out the checks, having them signed, stuffing them, walking them to the post office. So a huge, huge burden to the AP team, everybody. So can you just walk us through how MotilityPay takes that administrative burden away from the AP team?
Yeah. You got to think about how much time does it take to actually siphon through all the invoices that you're going through in your batch, AP process. How much time does it take to actually sign every individual check? How much time does it take to stuff that in the envelope, put a stamp on it, and then get it to the mailbox? All that time can be given back and repurposed in your in the accounting department. we have Alliance Bus Group who uses MotilityPay, and you can see that she thinks that they should have done this ages ago. It's just in my opinion, it's a no-brainer because you want software to work more for you and you don't want to work harder. This is something that's built right into the system, and why do you need to get up and do all this physical labor on the same time? Anybody. I've also looked at another study that any company or AP department that have implemented some sort of electronic payable process, they've been able to save at least like an hour a week, depending on how often or the size of the business. They're able to save maybe an hour a week, which is almost 4 hours in a month, that they could be doing something that is a little bit more tedious, like end of month or payroll or end of year, things that they would prefer to spend more time on other than spending money. You want to be able to have that time back and feel like you're not, pushed at the end of the day to get something done that you had to push off because you spent how much time stuffing envelopes.
Right. So it allows them to get, more time back on their calendar, which is, everybody knows time is precious. So thank you for walking us through that. Which brings us to our last sticky situation, which is in regards to snail mail. The truth is, when you're sending out a check, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. It can be lost in the mail. The supplier could lose it. It could be put on their desk. They don't get to it. So you're constantly following up with suppliers. Hey, did you receive the payment? Have you cashed it? When are you going to? Can you talk about just some of the other payment methods that MotilityPay has and just the efficiency that it's going to give back to the accounts payable team?
Yeah. I've spent years going into hundreds of dealerships. I've walked into office managers, controllers, accounts payable, accounts receivable. And I think the one consistent thing is, they have very busy desk is the way I'll put it. There's a lot of different invoices. There's a lot of different envelopes. There's a lot of things that they're trying to process at one time. Moving forward with MotilityPay, you kind of digitize that and you can have your own organizing system in a way. So with the snail mail, your suppliers are receiving those payments in an electronic format if they're receiving a virtual card. So what's nice for them is that they're not siphoning through their desk. They're not looking through all the paperwork. They're able to go into their inbox and automatically pick out a Motility payment from you, and they're able to process that in normal credit card transaction time. So, the supplier gets their money quicker, and then, they also have, like I said, the organization, it's a little bit easier and it's secure. So you're not going to be worried about the processing of those payments. We have an agent here in house that makes sure that those payments are processed within a timely manner, and we just follow. It's something that we're doing for the customers that understand that time is money.
Great, very well put. And I appreciate you walking through that. Going through these situations and all just the features and benefits that MotilityPay has, and is open and available to anybody that uses the Infinity platform. I kind of touched on it in the beginning, but I wanted to just quickly review the future outlook of MotilityPay and our accounts payable platform. What we have available right now is just the beginning. We have several new features that are on our roadmap right now. We should have available out in 12 to 18 months with our dealers. Just to highlight a few things that we're working on is starting to leverage AI and machine learning, which is really going to expedite that invoice entry process, reduce the likelihood of human error. We're also working on a payment calendar right inside the accounting module. So basically, when you process a payment in the accounting module, you're going to get a delivery date of when that supplier is going to receive payment, whether it was check, ACH, or V card. Great tool to have whenever you get a call from a supplier. Right away, you can say, hey, it was sent on this day. You're going to get it on this day. We're also going to have the ability to link with your suppliers, which opens up a whole new feature set. One of the biggest ones, it's going to allow for three-way matching between that purchase order, that receiving ticket, and that invoice. Again, just driving efficiency, kind of taking the AP team out of that manual process. We're also working on a new dashboard that's customizable, and at a glance, it's going to allow you to look at open POs, past due invoices. Instead of having to run several reports, you can quickly drop this dashboard and get the information that you need. And finally, one item that we're very excited about is the ability to upload and send documentation along with payment emails to your suppliers. So this will be things like certificates, tax information, title work. Right now, you're having to print those out, put them in an envelope, and send them out. Now, with this new feature, you'll be able to send this in email as an attachment. So these are just a few of the things that we're working on right now, and can't wait to get it in the hands of everybody there. So that about wraps up MotilityPay's a way to get you out of the 5 sticky situations there, and the future roadmap of what we have. So it's now time for the gift card giveaway, and I was just informed that I am not able to win this, which I'm extremely upset about. So I would just hand it over to Lizzie to pick the winner.
Perfect. All right, we'll get my trusty automatic generator here for the Zoom attendees. Okay. All righty, Judy McCabe, congratulations on winning our $250 Amazon gift card. So after this webinar, we will reach out to you directly from the email that you provided in the Zoom registration. So congratulations again. We are a bit ahead of time, just 2 minutes. So we will use this time now to answer some questions. So let me just pull up the Q&A panel here, and I'll stop sharing for just a second while we do that. The first one is, how do I know which of my suppliers takes V cards?
I can take that. So that's a great question. And that's actually part of the implementation process. So that's something that we do. We would actually take a look at your supplier list, and we would create a database of approved suppliers that accept credit card payment. And we would build that on your profile. That's not a process that you have to own. That's something that we work on and constantly maintain and update. So all you have to worry about is processing files, and we're able to identify the payment method for each supplier, whether it's ACH, V card, or check.
All right. And the next question is, can I still cut a check if I needed to on site?
Yeah, I'll take this one, Josh. So one thing about MotilityPay is that it does allow you to still provide those cash on delivery checks. MotilityPay is really, guided towards making those routine payments to the suppliers that you make payments to on a monthly basis. That's where you kind of see the big benefit in getting the rebate with the virtual card is depending on how much spend is done through the V card is how we calculate the rebate that comes back to you on a quarterly basis on your Motility invoice. So being able to give those checks on hand for any kind of delivery specific on site, that's still possible.
Awesome. And can you explain a little bit more then, this is like my question, but can you explain a little bit more on the rebate process and what that's like and how people can get a rebate?
Yeah. So based off of, our partnership with Comdata, who is a market leader in e-payables, based on the amount of spend with the V cards, there's a percentage, about 25 basis points, that gets returned back to the customer. And that's based off of, depending on how many checks are sent out on your behalf for vendors that aren't accepting V cards. It's an evolving list, having vendors join the V card program. They just see the benefit behind the time efficiency and savings. So, based off of how much that your suppliers are accepting the V card is a huge determining factor as far as how much on the basis points are going to be get back. So.
Awesome. Well, so far, those are all the questions we have. If you guys have any questions about these sticky situations or about MotilityPay at all, feel free to post and we can answer them live. We do have a few minutes to answer any more questions that you guys have.
Absolutely. I did just want to point out that if after the webinar, if anybody has any questions at all related to MotilityPay, please feel free to reach out to me directly. My number and my email are on the contact sheet here. And also, if you'd like to schedule a demo, you can sign up right with Robert Diaz's calendar there. We can put together a tailored demo to your dealership. We can look at your supplier list and actually identify which of those suppliers do accept V cards. So we can give you an estimated rebate on your first year spend with MotilityPay. So look forward to hearing from everyone.
Yeah, that's a great point. I did just reshare that. So if anyone has any questions about that demo, the contact information for Robert is on the screen for you guys.
I'm also gonna just go ahead and throw the link here in the chat as well, if somebody wants to copy and paste that. And that's based off of the availability in our calendar. So what you see available there for times is going to be available, at your convenience to go ahead and schedule that time.
And it looks like that actually just went out to panelists. Let me push it to everybody.
Oh.
There you go. So that link is in the chat.
I see the drop down link there now.
All righty. Well, we still have no questions coming through. So we can go ahead and conclude today's webinar. We can leave this open just for another few minutes in case there are any additional questions. I said that, and I think we just got one. What is the monthly cost?
Oh, perfect. It is absolutely free. Getting it added into Motility, it's simply a button that would go above your print checks option in the accounting module. Moving forward, we would just have to have the agreement that you want to go ahead and have payments processed on our end, getting check proofs and things like that set up with the agreement. But it coincides with your Motility contract, and at the time it doesn't cost a dime right now. It's completely integrated into the system and for you to use and save money on checks, save money on envelopes, stamps, postage. It's really a great program. A lot of our customers on it now are seriously, incurring all the benefits. We just had our first set of rebates go out.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining today's session. If we do have any more questions and they come through, we will happily answer those. Otherwise, thank you so much and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.